Hey, what's up, guys? This is Hans from the Eclectic podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dinobots Platinum Edition. This is the version of the Dinobots that came with the G1 heads. I missed out on the SDCC 2014 edition from last year that came with the pop-up, but this was one I wanted to get my hands on because I was really curious to see how they were able to homage those G1 heads with these Bayformer Dinobots. I know a lot of people were looking forward to maybe a real old-school rendition, but that didn't happen. So real quick, we'll take a look at the packaging. Up at the top, you got a Autobot logo. On the side, you have the Autobot logo inside the Pokeball, like it's on fire. Wow, fire, fire! On the side, on this other side here, we just have an Autobot logo up at the top. And I do apologize, this box is really, really large. And then on the back, it shows each one of the Dinobots in their Dino mode and their Alt mode. So we got Slog, Slug, Strafe, Snarl, and Grimlock. 18 steps, 16 steps, 10 steps, 15 steps, and 16 steps. Also, down here on the corner, on the left-hand side, it does show you something they are working on for the future. And for all you Beast Wars guys, this will be pretty exciting. So they are coming out with an Optimus Primal, I'm guessing as a Platinum Edition. At the bottom of the box, again, legal mumbo jumbo. Nobody cares unless you're a lawyer, again, like I've said before. So, yeah, that's not very interesting. Let's go ahead and open up this flap. It does have a Velcro cling on the window. And there they are, kind of nicely displayed, especially for you people that like to collect in-box, like I do. They're really nicely displayed within that. Shows you all of them standing there, encased in plastic. Bleh. And then up here at the top, on the top of the flap, of course, we do have kind of an overall bio, and then the general bio for each one of the individual figures. And we'll go through those one by one. I'll kind of give you guys a chance to freeze frame on it if you want to read those. So here's just kind of the general bio of the bunch. Ferocious, Autobots, Decepticons. Yeah, feel free to pause that and read that if you want. Slog, that's our first bio that we got there. Slug. Strafe. Snarl. Grimlock. Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and let's open this up and take a look at what's inside. Here they are out of the package, and they look like a really nice set, especially in Dino mode. I mean, they do look really good together. We'll go through each one of the figures one by one. I'm not going to go through transformation because I think that's a bit much for this video. It's going to be long enough as it is already. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a feel for what this set is like. You do get 5 instruction manuals. So one for each one of the bots. The instructions are kind of disappointing because they only show you going from bot mode into Dino mode. They don't show you going back the other way. And the instructions are a little iffy to follow, especially with the fiddly kind of transformations that some of these guys have with some of their softer plastic. But, I mean, at least they did include something. They're not glossy, they're just kind of a regular paper stock. Not like what I've seen with some of the other Platinum editions. As you can see, I mean, they're really chromed out to the max. I do wish they would have had some more gold on there. They show a lot more gold on the cover, and they just did not include that in this set. Not the way that they showed it on the front, but it is what it is. So first up, we'll take a look at Slog. I haven't attached his weapons to him yet, but I just kind of wanted to give you a brief feel of what the dinosaur looked like without all of his armaments on him. He does come with the 2 kind of red lancers, just molded kind of in plastic. I mean, they did a good job, but nothing too fancy. Same thing with these 2 kind of additional cannons. And then as for the figure itself, it does kind of have the issue that all the Slogs kind of came out with, where this flap that's supposed to cover his chest, it takes memory from being in the packaging the way that it does, and so it doesn't want to lay flat. You really almost want to take a hairdryer to it and kind of try and heat it up and then kind of let it cool down and relax itself, basically. they how do I put this? They missed the mark, I think, on this guy, especially for going for, you know, what they were calling G1. They could have done a lot more with in the way of the paint apps. I mean, there's some stuff that looks pretty good, like that red piece right there. That looks pretty solid. I like how it comes through on some of those holes that he has. I like kind of the translucence that he's got on the neck. His mouth does open, so you do get that, and the head can move up and down, obviously. You saw me doing that with it. He really is kind of a fiddly dino. He's probably the most fiddly figure out of the bunch. I do like the Autobot logos that he's got down there on the legs. I think that was a kind of a nice touch. And I like this silver paint job that they did up on those kind of shoulder pads. To me, that was a really nice touch. Also on the tail here, there's some kind of red that kind of pokes through down there. That looks really good. That's kind of a, I don't know if that's die cast in there or if that's actually just a hard plastic. Can't tell. It's hard to say. But it feels much more solid than the rest. I don't know. I don't know what to feel about this guy. He missed the mark in a lot of ways, I think. This soft rubbery plastic stuff, like eventually that's going to wear out. That's not going to last. And that's just kind of unfortunate. But, yeah, I don't know. Not sure what to think. Anyways, let's get him armed up so we can see what he looks like with his weapons. I think this is a vast improvement, especially with the way that they've got that funky section on the back there. The cannons on the side, I think I've got them upside down, but that's because it will not stay up. Otherwise, it's kind of loose in that slot. Let you kind of see some of that detail in there. Like I said, that red detail on the tail, I really, really like that. They could have just done so much more with the paint apps. Especially considering, you know, this is the, third or fourth release of this mold like this. Just, I don't know. They missed the mark on a lot of things with this guy. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about him other than that. I feel like they missed the mark. But anyways, let's take a look at him in his bot mode. I think, and he looks a lot better, I think, in bot mode than what he does in his dino mode. Kind of that lack of paint apps is kind of gone. I think that's because you have just so much more of the red and the blacks to accent some more of that kind of the gray, the dull gray that they've got for colors on him. These guys have got some of the worst posability with their arms. They've all got the gorilla arms. Their legs don't move a whole lot. Just not super articulated by any means. Let's take a look at the head sculpt. See if they were able to hit the mark with this. And to me, okay, so the head sculpt, it looks good. The weird thing is, seeing this type of a traditional kind of Transformers head sculpt, I'd say, on this form, looks just really weird. And maybe the Knight kind of head sculpt they had originally kind of fit a little bit better with it, but that looks kind of odd to me. It looks good, but it looks odd. And just to kind of reiterate, I think looking at this in bot mode, a little bit more objectionably, it does look a lot better than what it does in Dino mode. The lack of paint apps doesn't look as bad here. They could have done there was so much that they missed the mark on. They could have done something with those frills. They could have painted, you know, his skirt piece down there. They could have added a lot more to this guy. But next up, we'll look at Snarl. He is super spiky. We'll look at his weapons real quick. He's got this bladed kind of, well, it's a blade. I don't know what you'd call it other than that. And then he also has this mace club tail thing, kind of in a smoked gray plastic. It's kind of funny. Some of these weapons on these guys are just kind of, just make you want to scratch your head. As for the figure itself, I mean, it looks good. There's so much chrome in this area here where the plates are at, that it's hard to close that. You do get a nice Autobot logo that is visible while he is in Dino mode, which is pretty cool. You don't have a whole lot of articulation in these guys, like I've said before. The foot kind of moves forward, and you can kind of close it up, but you don't have a huge range. His mouth does open and close, and I think it is kind of a cool little head sculpt that he's got on there. With that smoked gray plastic again. It moves up and down. The neck does actually also pivot, but I didn't show that off in here. And then on the back legs, you got that little bit of a swivel there. And it does fold back. He does also use his hands as part of his heels for his rear legs. But you can kind of see some of that more smoked gray, which I think it looks pretty cool. The chrome, and he's so spiny. I can't get over how spiny he is. They went kind of overboard with the spines. I guess not in a bad way. I do think it looks pretty good. But then you can go ahead and you can attach his weapon. There's a peg right on the inside of that spine right there. That corresponds with this post, and you just kind of tab that right in there. Locks in really nicely, actually, but for as ridiculous as it was before, it just goes super ridiculous. Then you can split the tail back here, and you can take that Stegosaurus club that he's kind of got, just place it right inside of there, and close it back up, and boom, now you got the rest of his tail completed. I think he may be my favorite out of this set so far. And I forgot to put back down his front leg over there. Anyways, I'll fix that in a second. I'll figure it out. But he is spiny as can be. I don't know what to think about that. It's really is kind of a bit much. The tail, I think it's supposed to peg actually more solid in between that section back there, but there's so much chrome that it will not quite mount inside where it's supposed to. So that's kind of an issue. Anyways, yeah, Snarl. Let's get him out of this Dino mode and get him into his bot mode. Here he is in bot mode. And again, those spines just are ridiculous. They're all over the place. To where the point where it kind of actually hinders some of his movement. Like I said, I do think he may actually be my favorite out of this bunch. He doesn't hold his weapon so well, but again, that all goes back to these stupid monkey arms that these guys all have. And just kind of give you a close-up of some of this work that they've got on him. Everything looks really nice. I like the color scheme on this guy. I can't say that he lacks paint apps because I think he looks pretty solid. I do like closing this back part up because you can spread him out, but that, again, and like I said, it kind of hinders some of his articulation, but you can close it up and kind of put it over his head like a canopy, and I think that looks pretty good. Here's his head sculpt. They did a good job painting his head sculpt. I give him that. Again, looks kind of odd on these Bayformers. They're fiddly figures, man. They do not hold their stances the best. But I really do think he may be my favorite. Just the way his chest looks and then kind of go down to that mid-torso area. He looks pretty cool. He looks deadly. And I do like that canopy kind of being closed up on him. More so than just kind of leaving it spread. Next up is Slug. And this one, I think, in some ways, they really kind of hit some more G1 strides with him. Of course, he's really chromed out. He does kind of have this just flat gray on the back area. They could have done something there. They could have done some more painting or something. Soft plastic tail. And then they've got these nice little blue skirts right there on the front on his legs. And that's actually a really nice G1 homage. The head sculpt's actually pretty nice. It looks really cool. They missed the mark there. They could have added some more paint. Maybe even just some more black. Rubbery mouth, which is kind of odd. No articulation. You can't move that head really at all. But that mouth does open and close. His rock butt. That's what I call those rear legs. They look like rocks. Just pillars. He does come with these weird, I guess they're kind of like spears, blades, but they're really soft plastic. And again, they have that kind of memory that Slog had with his stuff. But I guess you're supposed to peg them into his side while he's in Dino mode. To me, they just kind of look ridiculous. I don't know, Ginsu Dino. I don't understand some of the looks they went for with some of these guys sometimes. I don't understand why it's this soft plastic. I don't get that. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at him in his bot mode. Here he is in his bot mode, and again, this is one area where I feel like the lack of paint isn't as bad, because you get a lot of that black and red, along with some more chrome that's just kind of shines through. I do like how these heads split off to the side. His feet, I guess, are kind of disappointing. Stupid rubber blades that he has in his hands. Their weapons are weird. Let's take a look at his head sculpt. They did a really nice job. Again, like I said, I can't knock them at all for some of the painting they've done with a nice tempo printed Autobot logo right there. They missed the mark again with some of that. They could have done something with, like, even with the claws, just kind of give them a little bit more pop, make them silver, do a dry brush, something on them. It's nice that it's broken up kind of in the bot mode, because you get that black and red in the crotch area and that chrome up top. That just really helps a lot to kind of break up the bland gray that it's got. So, yeah, he looks okay. Let's go ahead and let's move on to the next guy. Next up we have Strafe. He'll always be Swoop to me, but they call him Strafe. I don't understand the dual heads that they went with on this guy. To me, it's kind of like he's a mutant, or he's got split personality disorder. I don't get it. But Bayformers. That's all I can say. They're Bayformers. He does have a nice wingspan. I will give him that. And his color scheme isn't so bad. Like, it isn't feel as bland, I guess. He does come with some nice kind of clear missiles, which are hard plastic. I don't know why they couldn't give hard plastic to Slug with his spears, but this guy's got hard plastic for missiles. I don't understand why they couldn't do it the other way. And then he comes with the crossbow. And it's just a friction launching crossbow. Not anything too crazy, but you can see here, it does get a little bit of a distance. Better than what I was expecting from it. I didn't think it would shoot at all. Let's go ahead and let's get him weaponed up so you can kind of see him that way. Here he is kind of weaponed up. The articulation on the wings is actually pretty good. They could have done a little bit more, like how the G1 had some kind of like some tech detail on the wings. They could have done a little bit of that with this guy, and they didn't. I kind of missed that. I feel. That's my feeling on them. Head sculpts aren't too bad on these dual heads. The mouths obviously do open. What they should have done, they needed to include little Autobot logos on there if they really wanted to kind of go for that G1 look. And then get rid of the dual heads. I don't like that. I don't like the dual head, dual tail setup thing that they've got. I could have done a head split like they did with the others. Here he is in his bot mode, and looks a little bit better. I mean, here at least the dual heads kind of makes sense, because now both heads are kind of halved onto his chest. I think they could have done what they did with, with Slug, and given him that. This head sculpt, on the other hand, it reminds me a lot more of the G1 head that we had seen before with Swoop originally. So this one, I really think they kind of nailed that head sculpt. All in all, he doesn't look horrible. I think they did do a good job of kind of giving him a G1 kind of feel, especially with the clear, translucent head tops. But now we got to look at Grimlock. Grimlock, I think, in Dino mode, they kind of nailed a lot more of that G1 kind of vibe, especially kind of in the neck area where you get that translucent gold over that kind of gray inside of there. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty sharp. He still has a gimmick where he can close his mouth, chomp a lot. Chrome teeth at the bottom, not at the top, and I don't understand why. The eyes look pretty wicked, though. He does have, and Grimlock's always had kind of a pit bull kind of mug, but they really did that with this incarnation of this. I don't like how there's that big old gap in there. You can kind of flip these up to fill in some of that gap, but then it kind of makes him look funny from the front. So I don't even know what to think about that. I don't know. It's a tough call. I love the Masterpiece Grimlock so much that this one, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. Again, they've got some more of that translucent gold plastic on the toes. And he looks okay. He looks like Grimlock. I mean, pretty much. I mean, there's no mistaking him for anything else. He does come with his mace. Kind of a stupid weapon for him. But you can also go ahead and you can plug it onto his tail. I mean, I guess it's nice that they did include part storage in their alt modes, but that's so... I don't even know what to think about that. It's just, they could have found a way to kind of incorporate that further back into the tail, and then just kind of give him that red piece kind of sticking out. I think that would have looked a little bit better. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's get him into his bot mode and see what he looks like that. So here's the bow-legged man himself. And it pains me because this is probably... I thought maybe Slog looked the worst, or for the lack of paint apps, but it's definitely Grimlock. Grimlock takes the cake. In his bot mode, it's not as bad in Dino mode, but like that silver that he's got down there, they could have done it up on the legs. They could have given him those jewels that he has on his G1 counterpart. They didn't do it. So he's really, I feel like he's lacking the most from the lack of paint apps. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of pains me because Grimlock is probably one of my favorites also. This mace is just a retarded weapon with the way their arms are, with their gorilla-style arms. And yeah, I know you can kind of unpeg the feet and kind of get that twist to happen, but there's no real way to have them kind of put it out there and just kind of be like, oh, me Grimlock. Fiddle as you might. Just, I don't know. It makes him look ridiculous. And then those bow-legged legs that he's got. Yeah. Again, I think they kind of missed the mark. They could have done something more with this guy. Just some more paint apps. That's all it needed. He looks so plain. Plain. Ugh. Just that flat gray plastic all over. They could have done a lot more chrome. Something to kind of cheer him up a little bit. The other guys, when they were in bot mode, at least had a lot of different colors that were kind of broken up in there. This guy just, he doesn't have it. Let's take a look at that head sculpt. Now, for the guard itself, that looks really Grimlock-ish. But then they've got these kind of little side things that almost kind of remind me of a Starscream mold on his head. Doesn't quite work. I don't think it looks bad by any means, but they could have done a better job. All in all, I'm pretty disappointed with this set. Here they are all together in their bot mode as a team, and I will say, like this, when you take them and you have them on your shelf and they're all together, they look great. As long as you don't look at them individually. When you break up the team and you're not looking at them all as one, they're weak. You see their weaknesses all around them. This was, more or less, this is basically a cash grab that they've done, just to kind of cash in on some of that G1 nostalgia that's been going on. Because, I mean, the G1 fans are really, really kind of, I mean, they're the ones that are spending a lot of money on this stuff. And it disappoints me to see this. I do wish they could have done a little bit better. Maybe even just done a really nice G1 rework. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. what makes this podcast unique?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan, 130 the Eclectic Podcast, just coming at you right now, letting you know we'll be on into YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on back now, be the third subscriber. You get absolutely nothing. Thank you so much, and please listen to the Eclectic Podcast, because we are amazeballs.
Yeah, we're probably not quoting Mel Gibson ever again.
If you want to listen to lizard people or hear all about lizard people, lizard people, let them go, lizard people.